Let me ask you something. Do you really think that it's possible that the creator, the one who's so majestic and who clearly shows his power over the entire universe by running every single part of it, from the tiniest atom to the biggest galaxy with order and perfect balance, don't you think that he would treat with kindness those who place their trust in him and surrender to his wisdom and justice? And do you think that he wouldn't hold accountable those who rebel against that very wisdom and justice through their denial and arrogance? You see, here's the thing. Look at the life that we're living right now. People usually don't get what they deserve, whether it's reward or punishment. Not in a way that fits with the level of justice and wisdom that we're talking about. You see, it's rare. Most of the time, it's delayed. Think about it. So many people who live in misguidance leave this world without facing any real consequences. And on the other hand, many good people, people of faith and guidance, leave this world without being rewarded the way they deserve. So where does that leave us? It means this can't be the final stop. There has to be a greater court and a place of ultimate justice, a meeting where people are judged properly and that judgment leads to a truly lasting happiness. Now let's be honest, see, it's so obvious that whoever is running this universe is doing it with absolute, flawless wisdom. You want proof? Just take a moment to look around you. Everything serves a purpose. Everything has a benefit. Look at the human body, for example. Every single part of it, from the bones to the veins, even down to the tiny cells, has its own unique role, its own hidden wisdom. You see, actually, the secrets and benefits in your body's organs are as numerous as the fruits on a tree. That alone tells you that there is a hand of unmatched wisdom managing everything, not to mention the beautiful harmony and precision in how everything is made. You see, that kind of perfection doesn't just happen. It's all pointing to a system that's running with total wisdom. And it's not just that. Think about how a gorgeous flower has its entire structure written in a tiny seed, or how a massive tree has its entire life plan, its timeline, its features, even its devices, all contained in a little kernel. All of that written with what you could call the pen of divine destiny. That's not random. It's a sign. It's a sign that there's a pen of absolute wisdom behind the scenes managing everything. And when you see how every single creation is formed with such beauty, with such craftsmanship and design, it becomes pretty obvious that the one who made all this is incredibly wise beyond anything we can ever possibly imagine. Now here's something even deeper. Look at human beings. In the small body of ours, there's a summary of all creation. There are keys to all of Allah's treasures of mercy and mirrors to reflect all of his beautiful names. Just think about that. That's a powerful sign of the deep, incredible wisdom behind our design. So now tell me, could a wisdom that profound and that vast really ignore those who trusted it, who followed it through faith? Could it really not reward them with a permanent, eternal reward? And now you're probably thinking, okay, but what about justice? What about fairness? Let's talk about that. If you really look at creation, you'll notice that everything is given its form and place with perfect balance, measured down to the smallest detail. Every single thing is crafted with exact proportions, given the exact shape it needs, and placed in the right location. There's no coincidence. That's justice in action, complete, absolute justice. And even more than that, every being is given exactly what it needs according to its potential and talents. Whatever is essential for its creation, everything it needs to survive, is provided in the best possible way. This also isn't random. It's a sign that a hand of perfect justice is guiding the process. And look, even when something doesn't speak, it still gets what it needs. Whether a creature asks for something through its built-in potential, through a natural seed, or through sheer desperation, it gets a response every time. That shows us something important, that it's not just justice that's running the show, it's justice and wisdom, both working together to keep the universe moving. So here's the big question. If that's the case, if even the smallest and weakest creatures have its tiniest needs fulfilled, how could that same justice and wisdom ignore the greatest need of the greatest creation, the human beings need to exist forever? How could it turn its back on the deepest hope we carry, that longing for permanence, for meaning, and for reward? Would it really ignore that, while at the same time responding to the smallest creature's most basic needs? Wouldn't that go against that very dignity of divine lordship, to leave such a massive need unanswered? to ignore the rights of the servants who cried out to him. This is what we need to understand. This life, it's short and temporary, and it's not where that full justice plays out. No one will receive true justice here. It's all being deferred and postponed to a greater court where real justice will finally happen. And there, this tiny human little being will be judged not on based how small he is, but based on the weight of his actions and on the value of his essence, on the greatness of the role he was created to play. And because this short, fleeting world is nothing close to what's needed to carry out that kind of justice that suits a being created for eternal life, it has to mean that there is a forever paradise and a forever hell. It's the only conclusion that fits with the justice of Al-Adil, the majestic, and the wisdom of Al-Hakeem, the beautiful in his glory.